1 minute more and then we will start. Good morning, Senator. May we also ask our other principals?
Good morning, Ace.
Good morning. Good morning, Senator Sotto.
Morning. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning, Dr. Padilla.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Senator Sotto and Senator Lacson.
Morning.
And good morning, Secretary Piñol. Sec Manny, could we ask
Good.
that you turn on your camera, please? There.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Mayong buntag, Secretary.
Mr. Ping.
Morning, Sec Manny. Good to see you again. Kahit virtual.
Naghanap ng masaksakan ng laptop.
So, Senator Lacson, Senator Sotto, Dr. Padilla, and Secretary Piñol, good morning, and good morning as well to all the members of the media who have joined us today. This will be our inaugural and first ever Meet the Press with the Lacson-Sotto tandem, and we will be holding this every Thursday from here on. So aside from our tandem, we will also be inviting different members of the senatorial slate. So we have two of them here this morning. So before we start the ball rolling with the questions from the media, I would first like to formally introduce our guest today. Joining us is Partido Reforma Chairman and Presidential Standard Bearer, Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson. Joining him is our Senate President and the Vice Presidential Standard Bearer from the Nationalist People's Coalition, no other than our Senate President, Tito Sen, Senator Vicente Sotto III. Also joining us from faraway Mindanao is our former Agriculture Secretary and immediate past Chairman of Mindanao Development Authority, former Secretary Manny Piñol, and of course, our very busy physician and member of the staff of the PGH, no other than Dr. Mingita Padilla. Welcome to the four of you, senators and future senators. So just to let everyone know, we have so far counted 24 members of the media from both print and broadcast, as well as radio, joining us this morning. So before we start, I'd like to ask Senator Ping Lacson, sir, for your opening message.
Maraming salamat, Ace. At partner, magandang umaga sa iyo kay Dr. Ming Padilla at saka kay Secretary Manny Piñol. Welcome sa ating unang Meet the Press. Kagabi lamang nagkaroon kami ng imbitasyon. Dinaluhan namin dalawa ni Senate President Sotto sa isang hapunan na kinabibilangan ng 15 mga ambassadors. Mostly from the European Union, kasama rin yung ambassador ng Australia at saka ng South Korea. Maganda yung amin ang gintalakayan kasi wide-ranging yung mga topics na tinalakay doon, mula politika hanggang climate change. And rightly so kasi kasalukuyan mayroon nagaganap sa Glasgow. Within the week or at least for the past week, dalawang fora, major forums ang aking nadaluhan. Yung una, yung sa Phoenix, na kasama rin yung Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce Incorporated, kasama rin yung Signal at saka yung Manila Times. At kahapon lamang, ako'y bisita rin bilang tagapagsalita ng American Chamber of Commerce dito sa Pilipinas. Maraming tinalakay na problema. Ang bottom line, kaming dalawa ni Senate President Sotto ay tumatakbo at bago kami nagdesisyon, inalam namin lahat ang mga problema, lalo na yung pinakamabibigat ng problema na dulot ang karamihan ng pandemya. At may nakahanda na kami mga solusyon, hindi lang sa amin ang galing ito kundi sa mga katulong namin, mga eksperto sa kanilang mga fields of interest, at nakaredy kami para bigyan ng solusyon ang naglalaki ang problema ng bansa. So with that, sana maging meaningful at fruitful yung ating talakayan ngayong umaga. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat.
Maraming salamat po, Senator Ping. May we also hear from our Senate President, Senator Sotto.
Thank you, Ace. Thank you. Partner, Senator Ping Lacson, Dr. Padilla, Mingita Padilla, Governor Piñol, and all the members of the press corps. Senate press corps mostly, but I think it's open to other friends. So welcome to everybody. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Indeed, I was very glad that we had a sort of a forum last night together with Senator Lacson and the members of the diplomatic corps. Malaking grupo. Almost everyone in the EU was present. Correct me if I'm wrong, partner, I think there were about 12 of them.
15 actually.
15 of them. The ambassador of Germany to Denmark, even South Korea was present, and most of the EUs were there then. Great Britain or UK, and then Italy, 15 sila. And the discussion more or less floated around the bills or the laws pending now, and also the laws that we have passed before. And it gave us, nabigyan kami ni Senator Lacson ng magandang plataforma para ma-explika kung ano yung ginagawa namin at bakit kami, yung naisipan namin ay tumakbo sa executive department. Imbis na ako'y mag-retire at si Senator Lacson ay parang tinatamad na pag wala kaming mga barkada sa Senado. Gusto na rin mag-retire. Inaisipan namin, hindi, teka, bato natin yung ating, we throw our hats into the fray. Sapagkat eksakto, nakita ng mga members of the diplomatic corps. There are many laws that we have passed. Between the two of us, 42 years of legislation. Yung mga ginawa namin, maraming much to be desired pagdating sa execution. From the Dangerous Drugs Act to the anti-terror law to the national ID system ni Senator Lacson. And ang dami. At sila mismo, yung mga tanong nila, parang doon papunta sa bakit ganito, ganyan, bakit hindi ganito. So, we were given a chance to explain to them na kaya kami naririto. Sino ba ang pinakamagaling mag-execute ng mga batas na yun kundi yung mga gumawa? Nagkaso, hindi tayo parliamentary form of government na yung mga minister, executive din. So ito ang pinakamagandang pagkakataon sa amin, kaya naririto kami sa harapan ninyo. Perhaps later on, we can dwell on most of the issues that we would want to execute ourselves when it comes to executive department. So thank you at magandang tanghali sa inyo lahat. We're here to listen to our friends in the questions. Thank you. Peace.
Thank you, Senator Sotto. Mamaya po, anyayahan natin yung dalawa nating senatorial candidates to give their quick words when they're asked their questions naman. So we'll dive right in with your permission. Everyone, we'll dive right into the questions. So our first question today will come from Celi Bueno, and then next will be followed by Mayan Los Baños and then Kat Domingo. So to our guest, the first question is COVID-related po. Ang tanong po ni Celi Bueno ng DWIC, meron pong curfew. Ang curfew po sa Metro Manila has been lifted starting today, and at the same time, the increase in passenger capacity of public utility vehicles will be implemented. Meron po ba kayong concern dito? May kalaki po yan na question, COVID-related din. Inutusan daw po ni President Duterte si DILG Secretary Anyo na mag-impose ng sanctions sa LGUs who fail to administer vaccines in an expeditious manner. Do you support the move po? So dalawang tanong po, Senator Ping and Senator Tito Sen.
Yes, as far as I'm concerned, and I think si Senate President will agree kasi napag-usapan namin ito. It's about time na mag-open up tayo. Ano? Yung paglilit ng curfew, pati yung pagtataas ng capacity ng mga passenger buses, tama yung move na yon. At saka yung pagmalawakang involvement ng mga LGUs tungkol sa pagbabakuna, matagal na rin namin ito talagang tinutulak din. Kaya lang, yung containment strategy kailangan hindi mawala sa atin, no? Sa isipan ng ating mga kababayan, pati na rin sa isipan ng mga namamahala, ng mga namumuno. Particular na yung mga local government units. Alam nyo, napaka-importante, di ba? Testing, tracing, tapos yung treatment. Ano? Pati na yung vaccination. Doon na nga yung papunta. Kasi ang dinig natin, pinakamalaking bahagi ng vaccines ang dumating. Kararating lang, 34 million. Dati, nagkakasya na lang tayo sa mga 2 milyon, 1 milyon. Napakagandang pagkakataon para buksan na yung ekonomiya. Kasi hindi na natin kakayanin. Alam nyo ba na ang sabi ng NEDA, noong nag-lockdown, ang kanilang projection, present and future, na nawala sa atin, 41 trillion pesos. Ito yung kanilang estimate. At totoo nga, kasi nung nag-lockdown, nagkaroon ng ECQ sa Metro Manila and elsewhere, ang nawawala sa atin, 20.5 billion pesos per day. So talagang lugmok ang ating ekonomiya at wala naman tayong magawa kasi noong kasagsagan ng COVID. Now, ang pinaka-tinamaan talaga rito, yung mga MSMEs, yung micro, small, and medium. 99.5% ng ating ekonomiya, ng ating mga industriya, naandyan sa MSMEs. Nung tumama yung COVID, sila yung unang tumanggap ng pinakamatinding blow kasi 73% ng layoffs, yung mga nawalan ng trabaho, doon sa hanay ng MSMEs. Recently, as of February 2021, kasi ang pag-uusapan natin 2020, ang sabi ng ADB Institute, napalaki pa rin ang kakulangan ng trabaho sa hanay ng mga MSMEs. Katunayan, kinumpute namin yung numero, yung bilang 5.8 million lahat ang nagtatrabaho sa MSMEs. At ang sabi ng ADB Institute, as of February 2021, this year, ang nawalan ng trabaho doon, 73%. So translated, agad-agad, nasa mga 4.3 million kaagad. No? Ngayon, ang estimate nila ngayon, tumaas mula sa 3.18 million, nasa 4.25 million na naman yung nawalan ng trabaho. As of September, tumaas to mula August. So tama lang, sinusuportahan namin yung move na magbukas tayo ng ekonomiya, lalo yung paglilift ng curfew, para na sa ganon, medyo sumigla yung ating business activities. At wag lang natin kakalimutan yung containment strategy natin na nakasanayan na rin natin kasi para na rin tayo nasa new normal. Salamat.
Thank you, Senator Ping. Senator Soto?
Yes, just to add to what Senator Lacson has already mentioned. We're looking at the proposal in the National Expenditure Program ng 240.75 billion for COVID response ng gobyerno. Yun ang proposal nila ngayon. That includes 5 billion for the procurement of laboratory supplies to further boost the test capacities, yung sa human resources for health, emergency hiring, ganon. Pero bottom line, sa nakita natin sa atin, sa amin, opinion ko to, at opinion din ng ibang mga kasama namin, even the members of the diplomatic corps, the lockdowns are detrimental. It's detrimental eh. Ang nangyayari, pinopospone mo lang. Imbes na i-address mo. Pinopospone mo lang yung problema. Ganon ang nakikita ko. So, dapat maging maingat na tayo dito sa mga lockdown na to. Lumampas na tayo ng 1 taon at kalahati. We should continue with the enhanced information dissemination on health protocols. Ano, yun ang mga mahalagang dapat ginagawa natin. And then, of course, the immunization, the vaccines, there are enough tapped, but hindi ko alam kung ano na na-deliver. Mas alam ni Senator Lacson ang figures tungkol dyan. But also, huwag pababayaan ang prevention. Whether now or in the next administration, hindi dapat pabayaan yung prevention. Dahil kahit na vaccinated ka, fully vaccinated ka, mayroon mga instances na pagka nagpabaya ka sa mga health protocols mo, eh ganun din. Ano? And then, aside from the issue of the lockdowns na medyo maging maingat tayo, yung school openings, palagay ko, isa sa mga nakikita namin at naririnig ko, ang Pilipinas, ang educational system natin maganda, magaling because magaling mag-English sa mga Pilipino eh. Ano? Pero lately, itong 1 year and a half na ito, maraming kinakabahan. Maraming kinakabahan na medyo ano tayo, masi-setback tayo. So baka panahon na talaga para sa mga school openings. Kung gusto nila experimental muna, sige. Pero yung granular lockdowns naman, pwede naman yun lang eh. Kung yung mga areas na hindi naman talaga may problema, palagay ko dapat na magkaroon na ng mga pagbubukas ng eskwelahan face-to-face. Ano? And then, doon naman sa DILG na order ng Presidente, hindi ko alam kung order yan o suggestion eh. Because kung sinabi lang niya yon during yung briefing niya pagkagabi, sinabi lang niya yon. So hindi natin masiguro kung ano ang effect nun sa DILG. Pero kung yun ay may circular or memorandum na binigay sa DILG, then all the DILG has to do is to be just cautious in implementing it. Because nasa power naman nila talaga eh, na ang mga local government officials ay under sa kanila eh. Nananagot naman sa kanila lagi yun eh. Ayun, kabisado ni Governor Piñol yun. Di ba? So, ando naman talaga yun eh. Hindi ko lang alam kung seryoso yung order or sinabi lang. Malaking bagay yun eh. Iba yung nakasulat sa papel at saka yung sinabi lang eh. Thank you, Ace.
Thank you, Senator Soto. May we invite Dr. Padilla to give a quick comment since this is a health-related issue. Dr. Padilla?
Yes, Ace, thank you very much and magandang umaga sa mga member ng media. No? Actually, I'm also helping the MEs. Matagal na, di ba, sa Go Negosyo from the very start. At we recently had a meeting. Talagang sinabi namin, panahon na talaga na buksan ang ekonomiya. In fact, tanggalin na rin, kami rin ang nagsabi, tanggalin yung mga plastic barriers because they don't help any. Hindi sila nakakatulong. In fact, it might even be a venue for the virus to cling to. Kasi this is airborne. No? Hindi siya droplet. But even the shields were questioning it already. And I think nakikinig naman sila ngayon. No? Definitely buksan, 70% is okay as long as maganda ang ventilation sa loob ng bus. Bukas sa mga bintana, kahit air-conditioned bus. Ang sabi namin, what's important is the ventilation. Okay, so yes, we agree. No? Yung sa curfew, as long as people will still remember to wear masks. No? Yung sa vaccination, nandun kami sa meeting kasama ni Secretary Charlie Galvez, no? Na he was telling us there was about 3 days ago, mga 49 million na mga doses ng bakuna andun na raw sa mga LGU. Pero frustrated sila ang national government kasi marami nakatenga lang dun sa mga bodega. In fact, they gave a deadline. Within 3 days, they should be used. Problema, sometimes logistics. And the doctors, dun sa meeting namin, called by the PMA with Secretary Galvez, we were all offering to help in the logistics na dalhin yung mga bakuna sa mga pasyente na hindi talaga kaya pumunta dun sa vaccination site. No? That's one. Second is vaccine hesitancy dahil naniniwala pa sila sa mga maling akala. Isa yon. So we have resolved to educate. And then number 3 is gagamitin na rin daw nila yung mga ibang locations parang mga Jollibee, ganon, as vaccination sites para mapadali. Plus mga simbahan, we also suggested using the church. So that's the problem. And the very sad thing, there are a few pa daw, medyo pinupolitika yung bakuna. No? So nadidelay. Kaya nagagalit rin sila yung DILG, sina Secretary Anyo. So he's giving some people some show cause order. Bakit hindi pa nagagamit ang bakuna? So there's other reasons. But andun na raw sila. And we should really vaccinate. That's the only way out of this pandemic talaga. So we can go back to a better normal sooner.
Thank you, Dr. Padilla. I'd like to take advantage of
Miss Ace,
Secretary Piñol's. Yes, Senator.
baka lang makalimutan ko kasi nabanggit ni Dr. Padilla yung logistics, yung rollout ng LGUs. Alam mo, may mga pangamba yung mga ibang mga local government officials kasi ang pinadala sa kanya mag-expire in 1 month, yung iba 3 months. So napaka-importanting talagang ma-roll out. Kung hindi, masasayang yung mga bakuna na na-procure natin. Yun lamang, Ace. Salamat.
Well said, Sir Ping.
Can I just add also?
Yes, Dr. Padilla.
Oh, yan. And then, in fact, the other day naman, yung malaking sunog yung sa Pagadian, no? 150,000 doses nasira sa sunog. So, yun ang danger also if you store the vaccines too long. No? So, we have to really use the vaccines as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Padilla. Secretary Piñol, up until October 5, you were heading the MINDA. Can you give us a quick assessment po in terms of the COVID situation from the perspective of the island of Mindanao? Quick reaction po.
Thank you, Ashley. Good morning po, Senator Ping, President Ping, VP Tito, Dr. Padilla. Before I answer that, Ashley, and before I share my thoughts on the COVID issue, let me just satisfy the curiosity of some people on why a member of the cabinet of the president did not join the administration party. Well, first, I have to be very honest, no? Kasi identified ako na kaibigan ng presidente. Even when I was still governor, partner ko si Presidente Duterte sa anti-terrorism and drugs. No? Well, unang-una, it's an open statement, no? Open secret rather, no? Na nagkakabangga kami ng mga economic managers on several policies, especially on price tarification. Kaya nakita ko, kung doon ako sasama, mukhang asiwa. Part ako ng administration party, tapos tinitira ko yung policy against the massive importation of rice. No? So yun ang unang dahilan. Pangalawa, naghanap ako ng original na NPC kasi ako eh. Originally, Nationalist People's Coalition talaga ako. No? So yun talagang natural ko napupuntahan. If I would not join the the PDP Laban, the administration party, natural ko napupuntahan is NPC because that's my original party. Number 3, since kaibigan ako ng presidente, ayaw kong tirahin siya eh. Kasi kaibigan ko eh. And I was looking for a presidential candidate na although pumupunan ng kakulangan, kahinaan, at dapat gawin sa gobyerno, ay hindi tumitira ng personal. At nakita ko yun kay Senator Ping Lacson. Mataas, high level yung kanyang pag-atake sa mga issues. At hindi siya namemersonal. No? In fact, he does that with high respect to the president. No? And number 4, alam nyo, we are facing a very critical period in our history as a nation. And I believe that at this point in time, we need a level-headed president. Yung hindi panicky, yung hindi gagawa ng bigla-bigla ang desisyon base lamang sa bulong ng isang tao, isang grupo. And I see Senator Lacson as the most experienced actually. Lahat ng mga kaibigan ko eh. Kaibigan ko si Manny Pacquiao, kaibigan ko si Isko Moreno, I consider Bongbong as a friend of mine, although hindi ako masyado close kay Vice President Lenny. I respect her. No? But among all of these presidential candidates actually, I see Ping Lacson as the most mature among the present candidates. No? And I, in a crisis situation, I would go to somebody who makes decision hindi haphazardly, kundi buo yung kanyang paniniwala sa isang bagay based on what we call the complete staff work. So that's the reason why si Senator Lacson actually sinamahan ko. Yung kay Senator Tito Sotto naman ay busy mayor pa lang yan, magkaibigan na kami. No? Magkalaro kami sa golf niyan. Now, going back to the issue of COVID. My dear friends, while everybody is talking about the COVID issue, the problems that we're facing right now, what things should be done, I would like to look at the COVID issue more profoundly. Before I left the Mindanao Development Authority as its chairman, I actually requested the United Nations Development Program to help us conduct a study on the effect of COVID, not just on the economy, but on the lifestyle of our people. Paano ba nabago yung lifestyle ng ating mga tao? Paano ba ang pagbabagong dapat natin gawin sa ating economic policies? And in that study conducted by UNDP with the help of SERDEF, an NGO, lumabas yung tatlong concerns ng ating mga mamamayan, at least in Mindanao. Number one, concern nila, pagkain. Kasi nakita natin na noong COVID, yung naputol yung supply chain, nagkaroon ng threat na baka mawalan tayo ng supply ng pagkain simply because a huge part of our food supplies come from foreign countries. And that was a very serious problem. Number two, ang number two na concern na pinahayag ng ating mga tao, jobs. And hindi lang yung local jobs, kundi yung ating policy in job generation. For so many years, for decades now, we have supported the OFW program. Itong tinatawag nating, excuse me, tinatawag nating modern day diaspora of the Filipinos. But could our economy rely on the fielding of our OFWs alone? Shouldn't we start looking into how we build our own local industries and provide jobs for our people? Because the COVID-19 problem showed us that an economy which is dependent on remittances from OFWs may be crippled by the effect of a pandemic like COVID-19. Number three, yung issue ng ni-raise ng ating mga tao, health security. Why health security? Mr. President, Mr. Senator Ping Lacson, I really would like to ask you, if you become president of this country, and I hope you will, to really review our health insurance program. Meron akong kaisang kaibigan, mahirap lang, nagka-COVID. Ang iniwanan na utang sa ospital, 1 million pesos. Saan siya kukuha ng 1 million? So my dear friends, beyond the issues of how to deliver the vaccines, how to administer the vaccines, the problems, the temporary problems that we're facing right now, I believe that we have to look at the lessons learned from COVID-19 and embrace this as guiding policies as we move forward. We have to build a local food production industry that would keep us safe from any disruption in the supply chain. We have to produce our own food to the maximum, and I believe we could. Number two, we have to support local industries to provide jobs for our people so that whatever happens, if there would be any disruption in the economy of the world, we would have our own local industries to hang on to. And I'm referring, Mr. President, i-revive natin yung steel industry ng Mindanao, ng Pilipinas. No nation can claim to be a developed nation unless we have a steel industry. And there's no reason why we should not have one. We are exporting raw ores to China. Ginagawang pako, binabalik sa atin, ini-import natin pako. We export logs to China, planted by our farmers. Pinoprocess into plywood, binabalik sa atin. What if we start our own local industries? What if our government focuses on the support for local industries so that we'll be able to provide jobs and create an inclusive economy where the growth comes from the ground to the top? So mga kaibigan, yun po ang aking pananaw. I would not like to comment on how vaccine should be delivered. That's not my expertise. My expertise is rural development and agriculture. And I'm sharing with you my thoughts on COVID-19 in relation to the advocacies that I have been proposing all of these years. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Secretary Piñol. We move to Mayan Los Baños of TV5. Mayan?
Hi, sir.
Your
Good
question.
morning, SP. Good morning, Senping. Good morning, everyone. Sir, una muna, siguro I'll start my question with, kumusta po yung ikot ninyo since you filed your COC? Kamusta po ang response ng mga tao sa mga inilalatag ninyong plataforma? Are they receptive to it, sir?
Very receptive, particular na kasi mostly ang dinadalo namin mga local government units. At yung pangunahan namin sa aming plataforma, yung empowerment ng mga local government units. Natapat ito na mayroong mandanas ruling at tama lang ito. Ang problema yung implementation. So, totohanan ba or on paper lamang ang implementasyon? Naglabas ang Pangulo ng EO 138 para talagang sabihin nating ma-institutionalize yung share sa internal revenue allotment ng mga iba't ibang local government units. Pero sa initial salvo pa lamang, initial na pagtingin namin, pag-scrutinize sa budget, nakita na agad namin yung diferensya na hindi talaga totohanan ng implementasyon. A case in point, DPWH, nabanggit ko na rin ito during the committee hearing, nabawasan ng 89% yung local projects. No? Maganda kasi ibig sabihin na-devolve kasi binawas sa DPWH budget. Nung kinwenta namin, dapat at least 80% ang mababawas sa budget ng DPWH. Ang kamukat-mukat mo, 5.8% lamang ang nabawas. So hinanap namin ang bumukol. Yung tinatawag nilang jurisdictional convergence, naggawa ng nomenclature, again, acronym, napakahilig natin sa acronym, isang sagip, isang BIP. Ang laki, bubukol 232%. So ang justification para ang mag-implementa DPWH, National Agency, sa halip ng mga local government units, yung nagko-crossover sa mga probinsya. So mali na naman ang ating tumbok kasi lagi kong sinasabi rito na sino ba yung mas nakakaalam ng mga priorities at saka mga needs ng bansa, ng kanilang mga lugar, kundi yung mga local government officials. Hindi active masyado yung ating local development councils, yung pag-prepare ng kanilang local development plans, kulang na motivation kasi nga hindi naman na-adapt. Dahil nasabi ko na rin, na-question ko na rin ito sa budget deliberation, bakit 20% lamang, 20% lamang ang ina-adapt ng DBM sa mga rekomendasyon ng Regional Development Council. So ito yung aming sisimulang drastic na pagbabago. Zero-based, sa halip na budget ceiling, gagawing zero-based, i-defend ng mga ahensya na magsimula sa zero. Bawat PAP na kanilang ilalahok para magkaroon ng budget, talagang i-justify nila. Para bang sa mga big private corporations, even in Singapore, ganyan na yung practice nila. Bakit tayo, budget ceiling? Anong implication ng budget ceiling? Kamas-kamas yung pagpaplano. So, ang resulta, napakalaki ng ating unused appropriations. Hindi na obligate at saka hindi na babayaran. So, yun ang problema. So, kailangan talagang baguhin natin yon. At bigyan natin ng mas malaking role ang local government units, lalo na yung mga 5th, 6th class municipalities. Hindi na sila makaahon. Sabi nga ni Secretary Piñol, hindi ba, na sa Mindanao, karamihan, paano babangon? Walang suporta yung gobyerno. Idinidevolve yung functions, lalo na sa Department of Health, pero yung pag-procure, naiiwanan sa national agency. Napakaraming dapat baguhin sa ating sistema. So ang aming panuntunan ni Senate President, talagang dapat drastic kasi hindi pwedeng more of the same. Wala tayong mangyayari. Wala mangyayari sa buhay natin. So yung mga LGUs, napaka-responsive pag ito yung aming idinudulog sa kanila. Engage na engage sila. Nagbibigay pa sila ng mga suggestion. Earlier this week or late last week, pinuntahan namin yung governor ng Nueva Ecija. Meron siyang input. Sabi niya, para mas malaki yung accountability at malinaw yung accountability ng mga governors, mga mayors, dapat may reportorial requirement. Yung kanilang ginamit na pondo, pag inimplementa nila, kailangan i-report nila sa mga national agencies kung pwede sa Malacanang mismo. So ito yung mga nakukuha naming responses mula sa mga local government units.
Thank you, Senator Ping.
Ace, may I?
Yeah, yes, Senator Sotto.
Ang nakikita namin, ng feedback, magkakatalo kami sa messaging. Yung kampanya namin ni Senator Lacson at saka ng mga kasama, mga senatorial candidates na gusto namin i-endorse o manalo, magkakatalo sa messaging. Kailangan makarating sa tao. Ang sinasabi nito mga governors at mga mayors kausap namin, yung programa namin at plataforma namin, kailangan maintindihan lang ng mga kababayan natin. Kailangan makarating sa kanila sapagkat pag nalaman nila, alam nila itong pinakakailangan, pinaka-practical at pinaka-magandang plataforma at programa. So doon magkakatalo kung paano pararatingin sa ating, hindi lang sa mga local government officials, kundi sa mga tao. Kasi bottom line, ang sinasabi ng programa namin, at ang sinabanggit ni Senator Lacson, you bring the money to the people through the LGUs. Ganun ang ganun ang kailangan We have to remove the practice of mendicancy na ang lahat ng pondo nandoon sa taas at walang ginawa ang kailangan, manghihingi ka. Sa ngayon nga, ang alam ko, maraming mga mayor at governor na hindi umiimik muna ngayon kasi hindi pa nire-release yung mga pondo nila. Anyway, yun ang kwento sa amin. Thank you.
Thank you, Tito Sen. Ms. Kat Domingo, your question, please.
Sir, may follow-up lang po ako. Senping, follow-up question for you po. After nyo po mailatag yung plataforma ninyo, you think you have a better chance of winning, sir, now that you're given the chance? Sabi nga ni SP Sotto, yung messaging po, nabibigay na ninyo sa tao.
Tama yun. Kasi, Kat, maraming salamat. Pinaka-importante sa kampanya kasi yung communication. Paano mo ma-communicate para mag-resonate yung gusto mong gawin para sa ating bayan? No? Kung magkukulang sa komunikasyon, as we speak, yan, alam ni Congressman AC ito, na baka magkaroon kami ng ilang adjustments do sa aming messaging, sa aming communication strategy. Kasi, alam mo, ang lamang ng aming mga katunggali, no, para sa Mayo, well, sana nating magagaling siguro yung kanilang, pero sa amin talagang issue, laging issue-based kami, baka hindi masyadong interesadong pakinggan. Kasi ang gusto ng mga kababayan natin, yung may patawa, tapos may konting TikTok, tapos yung mga ibang mga mabababaw na mga issue ang pinag-uusapan. Kami, we have always been serious in addressing, kasi these are trying times in our history. Hindi po pwede makuha ito sa mga lip service, kung ano-ano mga pangako. Pag kami, bago kami nagbitaw ng salita, pinag-aralan muna namin at nagtanong muna kami sa mga eksperto. Kasama na dyan si Dr. Padilla, yung health platform. Isa siya sa mga bumalangkas noon. At ang una niyang binigyan, siyempre kami dalawa ni Tito Sen. Pero nagpaalam naman siya, ang kanyang grupo, na kung pwedeng ibahagi rin sa ibang mga presidential balls. Ang sabi namin, by all means, kasi after all, pinag-uusapan natin dito, bansang Pilipinas, hindi yung Partido Reforma o NPC o NUP. So nandun kami ngayon. Seryoso kami at tingnan namin kung saan makakaabot yung aming mensahe. Palagay ko naman pagka naintindihan ng pangkaraniwang mga kababayan natin ang gusto naming, ang mga plano namin gawin para sa ating bansa. Ang tawag nga namin dito yung future-proof strategy, meaning it can withstand the test of time. Parang hindi pwede maging obsolete yung aming strategy. Future-proof. Ito'y pangmatagalan. No? At kung bibigyan kami ng pagkakataon, Kat, ito may papangako ko, gagang ang buhay mo sa amin dalawa ni Tito Sen.
Senping, si Mayan pa rin po ito. Sorry po, pasensya na. May additional question lang ako.
Si Mayan pa rin ba?
Pasensya na, sir. Sir,
sorry. I have to cut you there kasi I did announce to everyone that we'll limit muna the follow-up question so that the others can ask.
Sir, last na sir, please. Isa na lang.
No, Kat, we'll move you now to the next round, okay? Kat, please go ahead.
Si Mayan.
SP, please, isa na lang. SP and
Sige, Mayan. Sige, go ahead.
Love you, sir. I love you, sir. And then, sir, your comment lang, sir, dito sa groups who filed complaint to cancel Bongbong Marcos's COC on issues of moral turpitude because of his tax evasion case. Sir, you think dapat nga hubang makancel yung COC ni Senator Bongbong Marcos because of this?
Kung ako sasagot, may usapan kami ni Senate President Sotto. We will rise or fall do sa sarili naming merit at saka kung ano yung weakness na makita sa amin. We will as much as possible avoid commenting on the other presidential balls and vice presidential balls. Let them defend themselves. Hindi kami bababa do sa tinatawag well, pardon the word, hindi ko naman inaakusahan yung mga nag-file ng petition ng nag-engage sa gutter politics. Pero hanggat maaari ayaw namin mag-comment pagdating sa aming mga katunggali. Kami na lang, dadali namin sarili namin, ipipresenta namin sarili namin sa ating mga kababayan. Based on our experience, sabi nga namin, kakayahan, katapatan, at katapangan namin dalawa. Doon lang kami lagi.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, you, Senator
Thanks,
Ping.
folks. Ashley.
Yeah, thank you, Mayan.
Thank you,
Kat, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. For this round, my question would be for Senate President Soto. SP, good morning. May we get an update on the decision of the NPC on who to endorse as president in next year's elections? And do you have an agreement with Action Democratico EVP and Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto on who he will endorse for next year's polls?
Vico and I have not discussed about politics yet. The last time we talked, it was about the local government issues. So hindi namin na pag-usapan yan. Pero I know for a fact that iniiwasan ni Mayor Vico na mag-touch sa kahit anong national issues muna sapagkat iba yung partido niya doon sa aming alliance sa ngayon. Ang NPC at the moment, I'm very confident that majority of our members will support us. But to have it officially declared, we are in the process of doing it. I will be having a meeting next week with our top leaders, and we will be discussing. Obviously, they will be supporting me, but majority of them are going to support Senator Lacson. Considering that some of them na medyo may mga dati may mga iniisip na mga free zone or si ganito o si ganyan, medyo nagbago na eh. So I'll know by next week, perhaps at the earliest, siguro next week. Our meeting kasi namin next week. And I'm very optimistic that we will be forming an alliance with NUP and Partido Reforma of Senator Lacson.
Okay. Sir, yung follow-up ko next round na lang po. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Kat. May we call on Rambo Talabong of Rappler? Rambo, for your question?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay. First of all, thank you po for organizing this Meet the Press. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure the reporters here appreciate this. And I guess my questions are foregrounded on the meeting of Senator Lacson and Senator Sotto meeting with ambassadors last night. My first question is, you said that you are against Ninja Cops and EGK. You met ambassadors, and you said that for your foreign policy, when it comes to relating with China, you will rely on balance of power. So that means that you have to have a good international standing. If you win in 2022, are you willing to go back to the Rome Statute and rejoin the ICC? That's my first.
Are you asking
yes.
me?
Yes, Senator Ping.
Both of you.
Yeah, the answer is yes. No? Kasi diyan na tayo nagsimula. At well, kailangan konsulta ito sa ating mga foreign policy managers or yung mga advisors. But ang initial reaction ko is yes. Kasi yan ang court para sa mga powerless. Sabihin na natin ganon. So ang off the cuff, sasabihin ko sa iyo, yes, we should go back to the Rome Statutes. But again, kailangang alamin natin kasi kulang pa tayo sa datos. Ano ba yung, kasi after all, ang foreign policy natin dapat naka-anchor lagi sa national interest. Ano ba yung mapapangalagaan natin ng national interest kung pabalik tayo sa Rome Statute? At ano yung mga disadvantages? Kasi ang alam ko dyan, baka may gastos o hindi ko masyadong talastas yung tungkol sa Rome Statute. But initially, the answer is yes, a clear yes.
Thank you, Senator Ping. Senator Sotto?
After last night, or well, during the during the conversations we had with the ambassadors, I think they agreed, if not most, if not all, most agreed to what I was explaining when the issue of EJK was mentioned. It was indeed mentioned. I explained to them that prevention and rehabilitation is more effective addressing the problem of drug abuse than the present dispensation's emphasis on enforcement and prosecution. Much to be desired in prosecution, pero sa enforcement, doon nagkaroon ng problema sa mga EJK dahil sa tokhang yun ang naging issue, di ba? But as I said, nung inexplika ko yung programa namin, that there will be more emphasis on prevention and rehabilitation when it comes to the problem of illegal drugs and drug abuse. They agreed because sabi ko nga, bottom line, the day we stop buying is the day they stop selling. Eh kung walang bibili, kung wala ka ng drug dependent paano magkakaroon ng pusher? Di ba? So they all agreed. And that is going to be our program. And we will not be putting enforcement and prosecution to the back burner. It still be there, but yung tinatawag na nasa lugar, but emphasis on prevention and rehabilitation so that the new 13 years old from grade 5, grade 6, grade 7 will no longer be curious, and we will no longer indulge in the issue of illegal drugs. At para doon naman sa mga already dependents, kailangan enhanced rehabilitation program na tama ang mga profile na dapat gawin. Hindi yung katulad na nangyayari ngayon. I'm sure Dr. Padilla is very aware of the rehabilitation program of the DOH that is, I don't know what. Ang daming unaccredited na rehab centers. Sa ngayon, until now, masyadong na-concentrate ang DOH sa pandemic at saka yung mga kagamitan sa pandemic. Imbis na napabayaan talaga yung, even in the past few, even before the pandemic, there is much to be desired as far as rehabilitation of drug dependents are concerned. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Senator
Quick
Sotto.
question po for, again, in relation to your meeting with the ambassadors, and on top of the international agenda right now is the value of press freedom, especially since the win of Maria Ressa for the Nobel Peace Prize. What is your evaluation of press freedom in the Philippines? I mean, Reporters Without Borders have already said that the Philippines is one of the worst places to be in as a reporter. And we also know the context, the shutdown of ABS-CBN and the killings of journalists here in the Philippines. What is your plan to better the situation here in the Philippines? And also the context of you holding this meet the press because you value the press.
May I answer first before Senator Lacson?
Go.
I am the grandson of the author of the Press Freedom Law. I think that's enough. Because after the Sotto Law, meron pa kami pinasa, in-include namin kayo. Dati mga print lang dinagdag namin to, kaya ang tawag nga ni Senator Lacson doon, Sotto the Third Law. We included broadcast. So siguro malinaw na kung saan kami pagdating sa press freedom.
Yes, Rambo. Unang-una yung freedom of the press, hindi lang importante sa demokrasya. No? It is democracy itself. I-relay ko na lang sa iyo yung observation ng aming kausap na I think ambassador ng Italy ang nag-bring up nito. No? Ang sinasabi niya, naghahanap siya ng paano i-reconcile. Nabalitaan niya, and ito'y base sa mga information niya, na magkakaroon ng malaking pagpupulong sa PICC at yung pagbibigyan ng parangal si Maria Ressa. So sabi niya, ang tanong niya sa amin, hindi ba yung PICC pag-aari ng gobyerno? Mukhang magandang yason nito na dahil pinapayagan ng gobyerno gamitin yung pasilidad para bigyan ng pagpaparangal si Maria Ressa sa pagkapanalo niya sa awardee sa Nobel Peace Prize. Magandang indikasyon ito na binavalue rin maski nitong president, call it any way you want, pero yung kanyang observation na magandang indikasyon na hindi pinigilan, na gamitin mismo yung pasilidad pa man din ng gobyerno para bigyan ng parangal ang ating kababayan na sa kauna-unahang pagkakataon binigyan ng award ng Nobel Peace Prize. Salamat, Rambo.
Thank you, Senator
Sorry,
Ping.
sir. Sorry
Yep.
po. Hindi po
Yeah,
nasagot.
Rambo, we have 13 minutes lang. We still have
Okay.
3 who will be asking. So I can
Okay.
I'd like to move on. Thank you, Rambo. Okay, for the last 13 minutes, we have questions from Cecilia Felipe, and then Celi Bueno, follow up, and then Salima Refran, and second round for Kat Domingo, in that order. Okay, Cecilia, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, short lang yung, can we get summary or yung short and substantial plans ng Lacson-Sotto when it comes to health system, education, economy, peace and order, security, justice, and e-governance, which is the trend ng globally. Thank you.
Sa health sector, alam natin wala naman trade-off between health at saka ekonomiya. Malaking challenge, pero aanin mo naman yung ekonomiya kung patay naman yung mga kababayan natin. So ito yung talagang dapat timbangin. sa pamamagitan ng pagbabalanse ng ating dapat gawin. Dapat kailangan science-based at saka data-driven. Lahat ng ating gagawin sa pagtugon sa pandemya. Pangalawa, sa peace and order, nabanggit na rin ni Tito Sen kasi alam mo, yung statistics would tell us na marami talagang krimen pwede mong i-attribute sa illegal drugs. So ito'y pangunahing talagang gagawin at pag-uukulan ng pansin ni Senate President Sotto. Matagal na namin pinag-usapan ito at talagang kanya na lahat yan. Pagdating sa illegal drugs issue, sa peace and order, pinaubaya ko sa kanya kung kaming dalawa yung mananalo. Kaya lagi ko sinasabi sa kanya, wag mo akong iiwanan dahil pagka iba yung nakakapareha mo, baka hindi mo makuha yung gusto mong gawin para sa peace and order at saka sa laban sa illegal drugs. Salamat.
Ito, maiksi na sagot lang, Cecil. Issue ng health, ano mga sagot namin? Minggita Padilla. Issue ng climate change, sagot namin, Loren Legarda. Ang issue ng agriculture, sagot namin, Manny Piñol. Di ba? Peace and order, sagot namin, Batman and Robin, Lacson-Sotto. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Sotto.
Thank you.
Cecilia, thank you. Sally Bueno, your question for the second round. Sally, are you there? Okay, sige, we'll move on. We have Salima Refran from GMA. Salima, your question?
Hi, sirs. Magandang umaga pa po sa inyo. Kay Senator Lacson, ang question ko lang po, kasi kahapon naglabas si Vice President Robredo ng kanyang comprehensive COVID plan kung sakaling maging Pangulo. Kayo po ba, Senator Lacson, ano po bang aasahan namin sa isang Lacson presidency pagdating po sa COVID response? Ano po ba yung pinaka-immediate na gagawin po natin?
Pagka-comprehensive, nabanggit ko na kanina yung future-proof na strategy namin sa pagtugon sa pandemya. Kailangan, unang-una, marami tayong nababalitaan ng mga yung korupsyon, katiwalian sa pagtugon sa pandemya. May mga mali, may mga lapses nung una pa lamang, hindi tama yung initial response natin. So ang aming pinagkukulan ng pansin, bigyan ng mas malaking responsibilidad at saka ng partisipasyon yung ating pribadong sektor at saka yung mga LGUs. Hindi po pwedeng lahat ng control nasa national government. Doon nga tayo nagkamali kasi pati pag-procure ng bakuna, willing yung private sector na mag-procure, sila yung gagastos, willing yung mayayamang LGU na sila yung mag-procure, sila gagastos. At alam mo ba, maraming mayayaman tayo mga LGUs na willing sila mag-adapt ng mga mas mahihirap na LGUs. At ginagawa nila ito sa mga ibang issues, lalo pa nga sa health. Ang problema nga, sobrang top-heavy yung control. Lagi na lang national government. Hindi namin maintindihan talaga maski anong pag-iisip ang gawin namin pag-analisa. Bakit kailangan kontrolin nila ang procurement ng vaccines? Bakit kailangan lagi nang gagaling sa kanila? Hindi naman nila alam lahat ang nangyayari sa mga kasulok-sulukan ng ating bansa.
Thank you, Senator Ping. Senator Sotto?
Siguro, yes. Ang programa ng Lacson-Sotto for the issue of the pandemic and health, tamang paggamit ng pera ng bayan. Una na yun. Pangalawa, aside from the correct use of the people's money, yung tama, eksakto yung sinabi ni Senator Lacson, kung mga inayaan natin ng mga LGU at saka ang private sector ang bumili ng mga vaccines na ito, baka mahigit 70% na ang herd immunity natin at this point. Talagang medyo marami kami nakitang hindi matinudo sa mga pangyayari na nakabagal sa atin doon sa issue ng mga IATF at saka DOH. Lalo na pagdating sa procurement. Tanongin niyo si Secretary Locsin at saka si Ambassador Romualdez kung ano nangyari. Di ba? Kaya siguro yun ang pinakamaganda.
Masusugan pa ng konti.
Yes,
Alam mo
Senator
yung
Ping.
Universal Healthcare Law, 3 taon na natin ipapasa. Alam mo, 3 budget, 3 national budgets na, 3 appropriations laws ang naipasa. Pero hanggang ngayon, nasa low cost pa rin tayo. 3 bahag na nito . yung low cost, medium cost, at saka high cost. Dapat nasa high cost na tayo. Ang pinopondo natin for 2022, nasa 173.5 billion lang. Ang threshold ng medium cost, nasa mga 241. No? Ang low cost, 151. So bakit hindi natin bigyan ng sapat na pondo nang sa ganon makover lahat ng barangay? At yun, kaya siguro hindi natin masawata yung COVID-19, mga infection. Una-una, mahal yung testing. Bakit hindi natin ilibre yung testing nang sa ganon maraming magpa-test? Kung ikaw ay walang trabaho, gagastos ka nung una nga, di ba, 4,000, 8,000 yung pagtetest. Anong gagastusin mo? Kaya marami sigurong hindi alam na meron silang COVID, nagkahawa-hawa. So ang Universal Healthcare Law, ang sasagot dyan. Nasa batas na yan, implementasyon ang kailangan, yung tamang implementasyon. At tama sinabi ni Senate President, judicious spending of government money. Diyan tayo lagi nagkukulang, hindi tayo judicious. Alam, as we speak, naghihiring yung Blue Ribbon, formally. Isipin mo naman na meron tayong local entrepreneur nag-retool ng kanyang equipment, 200 million pesos. Pagkatapos pinaburan yung mga willing and dealing Chinese traders. Anong ginawa? Hindi na nga nagbayad ng buwis, parang may display pa ng arrogance, namili pa ng mga pricey luxury cars. Ano ba naman Salima? I'm sorry.
Thank you, sirs. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Salima. Thank you, Senator Ping. For our next 3 questions with the remaining time, no, Kat, Rambo, and Mayan, you may want also to ask questions to Dr. Padilla and Secretary Piñol. Kat, you have the floor again for your second round.
For my second round, it's for Senator Ping. Sir, first, what's your stance on contractualization? And second is that you mentioned in a forum that should you win the presidency, you will push for a historic increase on research and development. How big is this increase and saan pong projects ilalagay?
Tayo lang yata yung bansa na ang nilalagak natin pondo sa research and development nasa 0.4% of the entire national budget. Napakababa. Kaya tayo import ng import. Wala tayong research and development. Mahilig tayo mag-Google. Pag may kailangan tayo, bibili. Bibili sa China, bibili kung saan. Hindi ba pwedeng i-harness natin yung ating mga homegrown talents na kung saan nagpupunta sa iba't ibang bahagi ng mundo at yung kanilang ginagawa, yung kanilang naimbento doon, binibili natin pabalik dito. Bakit hindi natin bigyan ng incentive, bigyan ng motivation by increasing? Kaya sabi ko, historic increase. Pag sinabi ko historic, siguradong mas malaking dihamak do sa 0.4% ng ating national expenditure. Alam mo yung ideal investment para sa research and development? 1%. Kami ni Senate President at si Senator Honasan, inimbita kami ng Huawei. Alam niyo ba kung magkano binabalik nila doon sa kanilang research and development? 15% of their income. So baka naman pwedeng pagbigyan natin na yung ating mga talents dito sa Pilipinas, magkaroon ng pagkakataon para mabigyan ng kaukulang incentive at saka motivation para dito na lang sila at tayo naman sana magbenta ng ating mga invention sa ibang bansa. Sa halip na bili lang tayo ng bili. Tapos pag bumibili, may overpricing pa, may ghost o kaya under delivery pa.
Sir, contractualization?
Yes.
Sir, your stance on contractualization?
Sa contractualization, marami mga issues involved. Kailangan ng masusing pag-aaral kasi nga, babalansehin mo rin yung employer saka sa employee, yung kanilang mga sariling interest. But offhand, sabihin ko, kailangan bigyan natin ng parang security of tenure yung ating mga manggagawa. Kasi human capital ng bansa yung ating workforce, hindi ba? Kaya kailangan talaga. Kung titimbangin natin, I would venture more on giving protection to our workers, especially the ordinary workers.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator Ping. Thank you, Kat. Rambo, for your second round.
Okay, I just wanted to challenge our good senators again on the question on what you will do for press freedom in the Philippines. I really appreciate Senator Sotto, you mentioning that your grandfather has this policy. But how about you? What do you want to pursue if ever you become vice president? And you too, Senator Ping, what do you want to happen? I mean, we appreciate the token gestures na magpapakita ang government na okay doon yung awarding for Maria or whatever. But what are concrete plans? You pride yourselves for having concrete plans for the Philippines. But when it comes to press freedom, what would be your plan?
Ako, maximum yung transparency. Lahat ng ginagawa ng gobyerno dapat transparent sa media. Nasa ganon, kasi turuyo, kayo naman talaga yung medium para mairating sa ating mga kababayan kung ano yung mga kapalpakan, kung ano yung mga tagumpay ng ating mga namumuno, hindi ba? Dahil after all, you may not be our masters, but definitely, kami yung servants ninyo eh. So bakit kami kailangan magtago? Kami, ang tawag nga sa amin, public servant. So, I'm all for it. No? Kaya tinatawag natin yung media, di ba, yung port estate. Kaya, importante, napaka-importante para sa amin dalawa ni Tito Sen, na hindi lamang dahil sa merong Sotto Law at saka merong Sotto the Third Law.
Pupursue namin yung ano. We will pursue the freedom of information. We would want independence, complete independence to the fourth estate. Yun ang tunay na press freedom. Of course, accountable naman kayo eh, karamihan sa inyo eh. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, mainstream media and those who are accountable as far as social media is concerned. Pero yung mga fake news na hindi naman talaga media, hindi pwede yun. Yung independence is mga mga katulad ninyo at saka talagang members of the press. Hindi yung sa tabi-tabi nag-iimbento ng mga istorya o ng kwento. Ganun siguro sa amin.
Thank you, Senator Ping and Senator Sotto. We have time for one more question and that happens to be from Mayan Los Baños. Mayan?
Ang hirap nung isa, sir. Dalawa ha. Hindi, sir. Yung death penalty, sir, for the record lang, alam naman na namin yung stand nyo, pero for the record, again, stand po ninyo on death penalty, and for Senator Ping, most especially, ito po ba yung isa sa mga pangunahing batas na isusulong, ipapakiusap nyo sa Kongreso na ipasa oras na kayo po ay manalong Pangulo?
Yan, same question, tinanong sa amin ng mga ambassadors. Ano? Sabi ni Tito Sen, siya naging court. Kasi nag-author din siya ng death penalty bill nung siya una naging senador. Pero in the course of time, nagbago yung kanyang pananaw. Ako ganun din, sabi ko, I'm also a convert. Alam nyo ba, napanood nyo ba sa Netflix yung The Life of David Gale? Napanood ko yun eh. Yun, aktivista yun, na kung saan, sinet up niya yung sarili niya. Hindi siya ang pumatay, pero sinet up niya na para ma-prove lang na yung innocent man could be executed. Yun ang nakapagpabago ng aking attitude, ng aking pananaw at ng aking perspective tungkol sa death penalty. Ako nag-author din ako, ilang beses ko isinama ko pa nga yung plunder at saka yung mga iba't ibang krimen bilang mga heinous crimes at dapat maging punishable ng death penalty. But then, nung namulat yung aking kaisipan na mas importante na ma-save yung buhay ng isang inosente na na-convict kaysa doon sa mag-execute tayo ng talagang convicted at talagang napatunayan nagkasala. Nung tinimbang ko yon, sa tingin ko mas matimbang yung ma-save yung buhay ng hindi pala, nung yung wrongly convicted. So nagbago yung aking pananaw, kaya we-withdraw ko yung aking final na bill kung naandyan pa yan at iba na yung aking pananaw mayan. Salamat sa pagtatanong.
At talaga, sir, so hindi na po kayo for death penalty? Is this the same with SP Sotto po, Senping?
Mayan, and for everyone, I found a better solution eh. You see, okay, para makompleto lang yung context, I hope you don't mind.
Opo.
When I first became a senator in 1992, one of the first bills that I filed was the reimposition of the death penalty kasi in 1987 Constitution, inalis yun, pero nakalagay, there is a provision that says that except by maybe by law, ano ba ito sinabi, because of basta mayroong provision doon that will allow it eh. So ang ginawa ko, nakalimutan ko lang yung exact word sa Constitution eh. So ang ginawa ko, nag-file ako ng bill. Pero yung akin talagang bill for drug trafficking lang. Alright? Naipasa. Naging ano ako ang principal author ng death penalty for drug trafficking. Noong mga panahon yun Si Boy Herrera yung sa iba-iba mga bills, iba-iba mga crimes na sinama. 10 crime ata yun. Alright. Through the years, alam mo mga 2-3 taon namin dinidebate sa Senate yun. Ang tawag ng majority floor leader namin noon, si Orly Mercado, pagtatawagin na yung bill, sinasabi niya, Mr. President, I now call on the Senate Bill blank 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 ang walang kamatayang death penalty. Yun ang tawag namin dun walang kamatayang death penalty kasi lagi na lang namin dinidebate, ang haba ng debate dyan. Later on, maganda yung mga posisyon ko doon. Pero maganda rin yung posisyon nila yung mga kumukontra. Alam mo, pag inisip mong mabuti, tama sila except for high-level drug trafficking. Tama sila in most of the reasonings that they were using. All right? So itong term namin ngayon na ito, ang naisip ko ngayon, edi hiwalay natin sila kumag. Yung mga high-level drug traffickers na gusto ko sana, ang death penalty final ko kasi was for high-level drug trafficking lang ngayon, mukhang mahihirapan. Nakakita ko ng solusyon. Ang solusyon, final namin, napasan namin sa Senate yun, nakapending sa House of Representatives, creating or establishing a national penitentiary for high-level drug traffickers and heinous criminals. Nakahiwalay sila. And then, kasama doon, is sinasuggest namin, and kung hindi magagawa ngayon at mukhang walang plano silang gawin ngayon, pag kami ni Senator Lacson na naupo dyan, gagawin namin. Gagawin mo ang National Penitentiary, alisin mo sa Muntinlupa. Gawin mong regional. Umpisahan mo muna sa Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Bakit? Based on studies and research, sinasabi na ang isang convict, isang PDL, pag pinasok na sa pulungan at hindi na dinadalaw ng pamilya, diyan na umpisa nagluloko. Ayan na, kung ano-anong kalokohan ng mga napapasukan, mapasok sa gang, kung ano-ano, hanggang droga, lahat na. Pero pag dinadalaw ng pamilya, ay maayos siya. Paano dadalawin nung taga-Sultan Kudarat sa Muntinlupa? Baka taga-Negros lang, hindi makapunta once a year O baka yung taga-Ilocos, hindi makapunta Pero pag ginawa mong regional, ang laking bagay nun. Pangalawa, maraming lugar na pwede talagang paglagyan ng Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Doon naman sa Muntinlupa, pag inalis mo yan, government can make it into a university belt. Ilang daang hektarya yan na trilyon ang halaga. Trilyon ang halaga ng total nun Pero yung mga high-level drug traffickers at mga heinous criminals, nakahiwalay sila. Ang proposal namin is something like an Alcatraz. As a matter of fact, Governor Alvarez has been very agreeable with the idea at gusto nga niya. Sabi nga niya, may nakahanda na akong island. Sabi niya sa akin, doon, puro bato. Sabi ko, may pating ba? Sabi niya, pag walang pating, lalagyan ko. Sabi siya, walang komunikasyon, wala talaga. Hiwalay sila. Di para mas mabuti yun kaysa sa ipasa mo pa yung death penalty na hindi naman makapasa-pasa. Hindi ba? So yun yung nakita kong solusyon In other words, pareho kami ni Senator Lacson, kung meron din lang ibang solusyon, na-convert kami. Ganon.
Opo. So sorry, as Pops Ashley, isa na lang po. So to be clear lang, Senping, pati po kayo, kahit yung high-level drug trafficking, hindi na rin po nyo ipupush yung death penalty doon, sir? Kasi
kasi napakaganda ng suggestion ni Senate President Sotto. Magduro sa habang buhay at talagang hindi na talagang wala siyang gagawin doon kundi magsisi. Kasi kung habang buhay, hanggang sa mamatay na siya sa loob ng kulungan. Sa akin, mas importante talaga rin yung, kasi nakakakonsensya talaga yung wala palang kasalanan, after ma-execute, napakabigat dalhin yan. So yun ang nagmulat sa akin talaga. Ang isa pa magandang solusyon, nabanggit na rin ni Senate President, i-reforma natin yung jail system natin, yung penitentiary system. Sabihin ko na rin yung sinabi ni David Gill, yung the only way na we can measure the significance of our own lives is by valuing the lives of others. So yun, alam mo, true to life yun, pinangusap tunay na buhay. Marami pa rin ganong istorya na wala naman palang kasalanan, na-execute na, saka palang malaman na inosente pala. nakakapagabag pagka ganon. Mas mainam na yung guilty, kulungin mo na lang na habang buhay sa halip na yung inosente ma-execute na dahil sa pagkakamali.
Thank you so much, sir. Salamat, Spox Ashley.
Thank you, Mayan. Before we wrap up, no, let me just tell our guests, Senator Ping, Senator Soto, we have an overwhelming response from our members of media today. Apparently, bitin daw yung 1 hour. So, minumungkahi ko po baka sa susunod pwede tayo mag-extend ng konti. But for today, I have been strictly reminded kasi meron pa po mga susunod na schedule yung ating mga guests. So, before we wrap up po, just quick word from Dr. Padilla and Secretary Piñol before we go to our 2 main guests.
Masasabi ko lang yung sinasabi ni Senator Ping at ni Senator Tito Sen, no, is that mararamdaman ng taong bayan ang gobyerno, especially in health. Importante. Because Universal Healthcare Act is precisely that. No? Libre yung mga basic medicine sa barangay, ang pagpapatingin doon para sa ganon, hindi na kayo aabot sa punto na kakailanganin pang pumunta sa ospital. And that's very important. Pero para mangyari yon, importante yung pondo, importanteng bumaba sa barangay, sa mga munisipyo ang pondo, at importante na tama ang paggamit nito. And it will happen, but for this to happen, kailangan tama ang ating presidente, ang ating vice-presidente, at yung mga senador. So, hindi pwedeng isa lang ang tama. Kailangan teamwork ito. And I hope it will happen para sa taong bayan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Padilla. Secretary Piñol.
Thank you, Ashley. While every political candidate right now is focused on the issue of COVID-19, let me just remind everybody that this pandemic is a temporary problem. Pagdating ng panahon na meron ng gamot, wala na yan. But let us learn lessons from this pandemic. Tulad ng sinabi ko kanina, tignan natin na malalim ang implikasyon nitong pandemic na ito sa ating food supply, food sufficiency, sa ating mga polisiya sa paggawa ng trabaho at sa ating health security programs. Salamat po.
Thank you, Secretary Piñol. Finally, quick word of thanks from Senator Ping and Tito Sen.
Kaibigan sa media. No? Yeah, sige partner. Mauna ka na.
Ako lang. I would just like to thank everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope to see you next week. I think I've said enough. I've said more than enough for this week. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tito Sen. Senator Ping?
Ako rin, 2 words. Maraming salamat. Another 2 words, keep safe.
Thank you very much, Senator Ping, Senator Soto, Dr. Padilla, and Secretary Piñol, and to all the members of the media who joined us today. Maraming salamat po. Hopefully, we'll have more time next week. So next Thursday uli, 11 a.m. Once again, maraming salamat po uli and keep safe everyone. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Bye-bye.